Well, bowling fans, thanks for joining us today. Once again, Town and Country Lanes is our host center. We've got the 900 Global Train Open. We've got the boys finals this time, Dwight, and they're coming out of their brackets. We're down to the final four, and two very talented bowlers in our opening match. We've got Brett Isaacson and Joey Kopera.
Joey Kopera, high ball speed type of player, very tall, silky type of player. And then Brett, the only lefty on the show. Again, more of a higher rev type of player, very good, strong physical game, a little short backswing height, but boy, does he put a lot of speed and turn on the ball. You know, if he could get lined up, he could really have quite an advantage out there.
And then the winner of that opening match goes right into the final. Our second semifinal today, we've got Cotie Holbek, home center bowler, against David Schwartz out of Racine, and that's going to be a tough match to pick.
Yeah, absolutely. You would think home field advantage with Cotie, but David's got a great game too. Ought to be a close match, Phil.
Absolutely. Like I said, a little bit of a different format today for the Youth Challenge Series, but we're going to crown a champion nonetheless. Join Dwight and I back from Town and Country Lanes in Burlington in just a couple of minutes. Buy the 900 Global Train. Get the awesome jersey free, a $60 value. Go to 900global.com for all your details. Town and Country Lanes in Burlington, our host center for the 900 Global Train Open Boys Championship matches, and we're in our first semifinal here, Dwight. We've got Joey Kopera leading us off on lane 9.
Yeah, this is the second time, Phil, I had a chance to comment on Joey's game. They had a Scotch doubles or mixed doubles tournament here at New Berlin. A few months back, I was able to watch Joey for the first time throw. Tall, lengthy kid, kind of reminds me a little bit of Wes Malott with the early timing, Mika with that early timing, tall, just like Mika and Wes is also, and a lot of hand on the ball, Phil, and look how he shreds the rack.
Gets that 10-pin out late with the messenger, and these two good friends off the lanes. They both live in Orland Park, Illinois, and Brett Isaacson, another one making a second or third appearance on TV for us here, and the creeper, I guess you can call him, low to the line lefty, and boy, he's always making pins fly on our TV shows.
Solid game, Phil. I mean, as you will see here, is a little bit short on the backswing height, strong cupped wrist. Kind of reminds me of, remember Jimmy Mo Miller Jr. in town here, another lefty that threw the ball very much like Brent. A little shorter backswing height. Mo in his day had a ton of turn on the ball, and so does Brett.
Yeah, just another great shot. Kicks the 7 out. We saw some high scrolls on the girls division on our last show. It was taking 240s to win in that division.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to take that with the boys as well. Even though it's a tougher pattern, they've opened it up between the qualifying and the girls' TV show. And even Brett on the left side is going to probably have a little bit of an advantage here with not as much opened up.
Yeah, it's a great point, Phil. He's going to either be the one to either make or break his game. And obviously you can see that he got it a little left there, Phil, and he doesn't have that recovery area because he's the only one on his side that's affecting his ball reaction, where the righties are obviously going to create a valley in the lane or a breakdown in the shot or whatever you want to call it, where they're going to blow a hole in the lane. And that can be your swing area for a right-hander, and you might find Brent might have to be a little bit more perfect to get to the pocket.
Yeah, both bowlers you're going to see the miss area from is both going to be right. Dave to make it hook, or Joey to make it hook more, and Brett to get a little more hold area to get in the pocket.
Exactly.
Almost mistook Joey there for his brother Dave Kopera. I haven't seen Dave on the show yet, but talented bowling family with the Koperas, and Dave bowls a lot of our events as well. Someday he's going to make one of these shows too.
And you can see, Phil, that there's a lot of talent out of the Illinois area at a very early age. Both the kids have great games. So again, you can tell that they've been very well coached and are very up on the games, and a super bad break there. Really, that should have been like a 4-7 only, or even just a 7-pin only. I don't know what didn't take out the 10. It wasn't really that high of a shot. For a second, you're thinking it just would have been a 4-7, and here he goes and leaves a 7-10. So obviously, unless he can kick it out of the deck, this might be one of the first opens of the match.
And unusual again, we saw one on the girls' show with Carlina Williams, the through the nose 7-10. You don't see that too often anymore. You see the blower 7-10s much more than through the nose. And
yeah, that one 7-10 wise I've never seen. It's like something missed the 10-pin, like the 6 didn't do its job. That should have been a 4 or 4-7 at worst case scenario.
Well, Joey down by an early 12 pins, but a lot of work to go here.
Yeah, pretty early in the match yet, but obviously now he's going to have to get it going. Brett, probably for a lefty, has probably a pretty good look on the lane. Another beautiful strike with a lot of revolutions, a lot of turn on the ball, just rips out the left side of the deck.
Yeah, and Well, both of them title holders. Joey we saw last year with Nicole Kluchin at the High 5-Gear Doubles Classic from New Berlin Bowl. And Brett had a great weekend at the Kalahari last year, winning both of our events up there on two distinctly different patterns, a short pattern and a long pattern, over 2 days. So we know Brett's pretty versatile out there in the lanes.
Yeah, on his bio sheet, he just lists, Phil, that all he's thrown was the 715T. I would assume he has more balls than just that 715T, but he says it fits like a glove, and he likes the reaction down lane, and I'd agree. He's got a very good motion with it.
And with the lefty disparity on the field here, there were only 5 or 6 lefties out of the entire field of about 30 boys today. So the lane, obviously on the left side, didn't break down as much as it does for the righties, and it could end up being an advantage for Brett. Joey's rev rate, though, he's able to take advantage of that opened up lane. We've seen it on the couple of great strikes he's thrown so far.
Another one, Phil, where he starts off very slow and methodical with his footwork and then builds up his tempo and has that beautiful explosion point at the finish. But again, a lot of revolutions, a lot of turn. Again, obviously he'll never meet or remember Jimmy Mo Miller, but boy, he's got a very similar game to Jimmy Mo, and again, very high rev rate. I'd have to put him in the mid-3s, possibly even the low 4s for rev rate. So he gets a lot on it, and it's because of the short backswing height and maintaining the cupped wrist and that backswing height. Joey does it a little bit more with speed and a little bit more silky or smooth, but still at the bottom, he gets a lot on the ball. I would say rev rate between the two got to be pretty close, but I would definitely give the ball speed higher to Joey.
Yeah, and Joey opens up his shoulders a little bit more. When you watch him on this next shot, you watch the shoulder turn, and they almost get perpendicular to the line.
I think that's the early timing, Phil.
A little bit of the early timing, but it also lets him clear his ankle on the way through and just stay nice and smooth and snap through that shot and just rips that rack apart.
Just, the girls' match, I commented how good the carry was at Town and Country. And again, the boys are just taking these pins and shredding them across the deck. And we typically don't see that kind of pin carry usually on AMF machines. Usually the AMF machines, the pins just seem to fall real slow. So this could be the Brunswick lanes that are causing the pin carry to be good. It could be a great install when they installed the lanes, and they did a great quality job. But anywhere around the pocket, those pins are off the deck. And I don't know about you, Phil, but I'd like to bowl out there.
I wouldn't mind digging a few 7 pins out like Brett's doing here. Another ball, half pocket hit, but between the revolutions and the speed, you watch that 4-pin come off the sideboard and have enough momentum to take that 7-pin out.
I don't see that, Phil, very much anymore. Usually the 4 or the 6 falls into the gutter and stays there.
My ball speed, the 2 and the 4 stay in the gutter. Falls real slow for me nowadays. Nice and direct to that pocket. And you can kind of tell from where Brett's playing now, where the righties kind of had to start off earlier in the day. They were very direct, right around second to maybe third arrow, but very direct in order to get the ball down lane properly. Now, because the right side's open up, Joey gets to use all his hand and speed and get inside and just wheel it.
Yeah, beautiful 4-bagger. I mean, he's right now looking on cruise control, lined up, very comfortable. I think they both look very comfortable. I think it's going to, who again avoids the big split. Both of them got a very nice look going for the ball going to the pocket. This could be a high-scoring match, Phil.
We can just sit here and just watch them throw strikes away. I don't even think we have to commentate at this point in time because that's all it's been for the last 8 shots for these bowlers. It's been strikes.
Cruise control. It's going to be who leaves the first 9 count or misses the spare, but that's what it's going to end up coming down to. But kind of fun watching this, Phil. I mean, this makes just for real exciting bowling.
And it's not the world's easiest shot out there, Dwight.
No, I got to remember, Phil, it's Route 66, which plays 4-1.
Looks pretty good out of Joey's hand there. Oh, gets the tickler. Getting into our commercial break for this game. Brett Isaacson with a slight 2-pin lead. And Dwight and I will be back from Town and Country Lanes with the 900 Global Train Open in just another moment. Bunch of the game down for our first semifinal for the boys here at the 900 Global Train Open. Don't forget, buy that new 900 Global Train. You'll get that free jersey you see on the screen there. And Dwight, Brett Isaacson holding the slimmest of margins in this strike fest.
Correct. It's a very close match, Phil, about 13 pins apart, or he can add on to his lead here with another strike.
Brett working on 5 strikes in a row. Pardon me, looking for his 5th strike in a row. I apologize for that. Wow. And he gets it. There's the handful.
A lot of ball, Phil. Very well balanced. Great game, great match, a lot of strikes. Very, very powerful. Kind of almost like it's like each shot is just a repeat from the shot before.
Both bowlers right now, 6 strikes, 1 non-strike. Unfortunately for Joey, it was at 7-10 in the second frame. That's the difference so far through 7 frames. So right now with Brett stepping up in the 8th, he's got that 12-pin lead, looking to extend it to 22 if he can strike again. And his max score right now, 280 if he strikes out.
Yeah, kind of lifted through that one a little harder. Looked like he wanted to get a little bit more on it. Right over the mark, same result, Phil. Anything around the pocket, flush strike.
Yeah, and we saw lane 9 in the girls' division matches play a little bit tighter, and it's doing it for both sides of the lanes, it looked like, on lane 9 here at Town and Country Lanes.
Yeah,
Plays a little tighter.
Going through Joey's mind right now is a must-strike situation. He sees what Brett's doing. He knows what the score is, obviously, at this point. Realized that Brett could go off the sheet for 280 against him. Not a great feeling in the world. That second frame could come back to haunt him currently right now.
Another great shot. He's got his own 6 in a row right now. 268 Joey could shoot. Can you imagine shooting 268 and yeah, exactly it, and losing? Mm-hmm. We've had 268 and win at our shows before with Brianna Cubito. The highest losing score we've had in the history of the U Challenge Series was a 258 against Brianna, and that was done by Amanda Garavet, very talented bowler out of the Amherst area. And I'll tell you what, these two young men both have a chance to set that new match record for the Youth Challenge Series right now.
It's a great match, Phil. It really is. And again, like I said, it comes down to who's going to leave the 9 count and open the door for the other guy. And there it is, there.
You had to say 9 count, Dwight. You just had to say 9 count. And
sorry, Joey.
That was a great shot. Hopefully, we get a replay on that, because with the replay, I guess that 6-pin just whistled around the 10, and that's going to be tough for Joey to come back for in this match.
Agreed.
And yeah, that you could tell
that almost hit his ankle, Phil.
Yeah, that was more out of frustration and everything, because I think he kind of knows after all the time bowling with Brett, Brett's not going to let loose on him right here. I mean, Brett would have to basically go open, but just stay in the 230s, and that would force Joey to strike out. Joey could shoot 235 if he strikes out.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously that was probably more frustration than anything else. He knew that he had to keep the strike strain going. He knows that Brett is lined up pretty good. And again, the big thing with Brett is he's going to be the only one controlling, being the only lefty, and probably not having a lot of lineage on that side of the lane. He's the only one controlling his side, where there's a lot more of a build-out or track on Joey's side. So right now, advantage lefty.
Yeah. Only thing for Brett, though, right now, different format today than we usually use for the Youth Challenge Series telecast. It's a bracket format, not a step ladder. So Brett's going to have to wait for a game while Cotie Holbek and David Schwartz bowl off in the second semifinal. It's not going to change his side too much, but being away from the pair sometimes can sneak up on you.
Oh, most certainly can. I mean, right now you're flowing. You're just repeat, and then you're going to have that little break. So I mean, it can definitely play with the mind a little bit, and we'll have to see in the later matches if he can maintain the current way of throwing the ball. But right now, he's just absolutely wired, and every shot is just 10 back.
Well, if he can strike in the next shot, he would definitely get the high game ever on the Youth Challenge Series telecast.
Wow.
If you can go off the sheet for 280. 268 is our previous high. We had a 279 on a non-Youth Challenge Series show a couple years back when Leslie Johnson, who now bowls for UWM, had the front 9 in the tournament, and unfortunately left a 10-pin first ball of the 10th frame.
Well, I'm sure Brett gets a lot of razzing from his buddies about being the lefty advantage, but in this case, right now, it is definitely an advantage to be a lefty. But, there's probably a lot of conditions, and Phil, you're a lefty too, and I'm sure you get a lot of razzing from guys also, but there's a lot of times that you go to tournaments where you have no look whatsoever, so it all evens out in our sport.
Yeah, it all evens out, and especially because, yes, he has an advantage right now. He knows where his line's going to be because he's the only one playing there.
Right.
Bad news is that he doesn't get any extra room for error on these tougher conditions because he's the only one working the line open.
And there's your 280. Phil.
Wow. One shot away from a perfect game.
Yep. And he was a little light on that shot, Phil, in the second frame, leaving that 3-pin. Looked like he caught a little bit more oil on the outside, and he made the adjustments for the next 10 shots, and beautiful game to watch.
Yeah. Well, Joey Kopera is going to take home third-place scholarship money today. Sure, it's going to come in handy when he gets done with school down there in Orland Park, goes to Carl Sandburg High School, and that's one of the powerhouses down there when it comes to high school bowling.
Yeah, it looks like he made a ball change for the first one of the 10th. He probably knows the match is over, so probably went to his outburst and made a ball change. He was using, I believe, a taboo most of the game. But obviously he knows that this is not going to be for him today.
Yeah, but
just finishing out the game.
Yep. Look at that ball just grind out the 10-pin out of the corner. No doubt we'll see Joey again on TV. I have no doubt in my mind that the way he's worked in his game, he's got great support from his mom and dad. He's always bowling with his brother and friends like Brett. And if they're not bowling in high school, they're out there practicing and just working to get better.
He bowled a great game. I mean, most of the time in any other game at 233 or there's your 233, 235, possibly you're going to win.
Absolutely. Well, Brett Isaacson's going to advance to our final here for the 900 Global Train Open from Towne Country Lanes in Burlington. Join Dwight and I back from Towne Country for that second semifinal in just a couple of minutes.
Buy the 900 Global Train. Get the awesome jersey free, a $60 value. Go to 900global.com for all your details.
Semifinal number 2 from the 900 Global Train Open here at Towne Country Lanes. And if there is one young man who wants to win this tournament more than anybody else, it's Cotie Holbek, because he works here, eats here, lives there, breathes there here at Towne Country. He really wants to win this show.
Well, Phil, can you say home field advantage? Maybe early?
Maybe early. I mean, now that the lanes have opened up a little bit, I mean, he's going to know where to play. He's going to know the subtle differences between the two lanes. Just a little bit of a bad break there to be a little high and not kick out that 4-pin. I'm sure he's going to fix that up pretty darn quick.
Again, all the makings, Phil, of a very high average, high scoring type of game. Kind of sets a early MO for what it would be like on the Pro Tour. High rev rate, high ball speed, and still knows where it's going.
Yeah. I mean, Cotie, great young man. They just recently had a tournament between Towne Country, Jay's Lanes, and River City Lanes. They bowled 6 or 8 games in each center, and they had a final roll-off at Towne Country, and he bowled 300 the last game to win the tournament. So, a pretty amazing young man for all of 18 years old.
Very impressive, absolutely. I've watched Cotie bowl for many years now, and has kept this form very much the same. David, a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more classic style, still gets a lot on it at the bottom of the swing. Very, very free and loose, but really hits it at the bottom. He's using a nano and a nano pearl for today's match. That looks more like the solid nano. He has a high series of 797, Phil. Does not list what his high game is, but I gotta assume he's got at least a couple 300s with that type of game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, part of that. I mean, 2 of the best junior programs in the state. David's out of Castle Lanes, yes. Cotie out of Towne Country. When it comes to Southeast Wisconsin youth bowling, that's definitely 2 of the stronger programs.
Agreed.
And it shows with the high school bowling out there too. I mean, David bowls for Racine Case. He's leading that team. Cotie was great when he was on the Burlington team. He recently graduated from there and helps out with coaching the girls team now for Burlington. So, the legend lives on with Cotie a little bit, and David, working hard to make that Case team better.
5-step, nice high backswing, beautiful shoulder position, tilts his shoulders nice and forward, snaps a little bit of the head to the left at the release point, but very, very beautiful game to watch and very powerful and free game to watch. Maybe a touch fast on that one. Ball came up a little light. Easy spare here, Phil, with just a 2-pin.
Yeah. And, I mean, we talked about last match with Joey Kopera. You watch it with David. You watch it with Cotie. The power players nowadays, you have to have the torso rotation, and you have to be able to have the ability to open and close your shoulders properly. Yes. And if there's 3 young men, the games are all a little different when it comes to how the ball gets down the lane. But you watch that shoulder rotation and the torso rotation, and it's pretty similar. They make sure those shoulders open and close nicely, and there's not a lot of excessive motion.
Correct, especially at the finish, Phil. They're still trying to lead with the left shoulder at the finish, keep the right shoulder back. And Cotie does a very nice job with that. A lot of amateurs or a lot of guys that are trying to get a lot of turn in the ball, they lead real hard with the right shoulder, and then typically they're crossed up at the finish and they're pulling the ball across their body, trying to get so much speed and so much rotation on it. When you got to remember that you got to keep that the shoulder pointers open toward the target at the finish, and Cotie does a very nice job with that.
Switches to that polyester ball, gets the lane out of play, and gets all 3 at the ball. Best way to make that 3-6-10?
Based off of the last match with Brett, Obviously, we're going to have to see some strikes out of the righties. Otherwise, again, advantage Brett being the only lefty.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll make their adjustments here, Phil. But again, the more the lanes break down and they start to transition, you could start to get a little bit more over-under reaction just because the oil is being depleted in the track area.
Well, you see how deep Cotie slid on that shot. I mean, his slide foot
Right.
almost in the left gutter, and with his rev rate and playing it a little too tight, almost left the 4 or 6.
Yes.
I think he's got a little more room if he trusts it right. I don't think he doesn't have much more room left to go.
No, he doesn't.
So it'd either have to be a ball change.
I was going to say, you ball down.
Yeah.
Correct.
Need
Shell down, ball down.
Yep. Need someone that's a little less aggressive in the cover stack, or even maybe someone with a little bit of a more push on the weight block. But with a longer pattern, you don't want to get too angular on the back end, because then you start leaving Greek churches and washouts and that type of thing.
And again, you can tell, Phil, that these kids are disciplined and have practiced a lot. David obviously wants to thank our good friend Lenny Borsch for all his help with his equipment, and Phil Actio at Castle Lanes for allowing him to practice. And I'm sure these kids practice a lot of games, Phil.
Yeah, they do. And David got away with that one a little bit, because
Almost
looked
a
like his
cold
9-pin. Yeah, almost
Yep.
looked like the 9-pin left in the first frame, and just lucky enough to get that ball. The ball didn't even touch the 9. Something coming across the pin deck took it out. I think he's going to have to make that little bit of a move on lane 10 to not go high.
I agree, Phil.
So we'll see what he can do here, switching over to lane 9. Lane 9 seems to be getting down lane a little bit easier for both bowlers. We've seen it play tight on both the shows here. Nice post on that
Yes, he
follow
did.
through.
And there's your flush 10 back. Again, maybe it looks like he might have moved in a little bit, Phil. Starting to get a little bit more lined up.
Yeah, you just watch that. No excessive move on that ball on the back end. I mean, that ball is just a nice, strong roll, nice, easy entry angle into the pocket, and takes all 10 pins out.
He makes it look effortless, but you know that he's getting a lot on the ball. A little deeper, Phil. And almost it looks like maybe a possible ball change there. Looked like that ball had a little bit more curl in it compared to the first one that he was throwing, and maybe got a little bit more angularity.
Yeah, you can just watch that ball. Almost a 7-9 coming through, but yeah, he definitely played that one a little tighter, and we've seen it all day. The tighter you can play the lanes and keep the ball on line with a strong roll, the better off your carry is going to be. So let's see what he can do getting into the commercial break here for this match.
Wow. There's power.
Grinds that 10 right out of the corner. We'll be back with the rest of our boys semifinal number 2 from Towne Country Lanes for the 900 Global Train Open in just a couple of minutes. Halfway through the second semifinal here for the 900 Global Train Open. Don't forget to check out 900global.com. Get those details on how you can get that free jersey when you buy your 900 Global Train at a pro shop near you.
I'm just waiting to hear how many people, once they get that train, Phil's going to be just going on the lanes now going choo-choo.
Whoa, and that ball
Oops.
needed to chew up some real estate because, yeah, he made that adjustment from going very high flush, 2 frames in a row on
Yeah.
lane 10. And you can tell,
You can see he missed right.
yeah, and with
Absolutely.
this oil pattern, 45 feet in length,
That oil is still on the outsides there, Phil.
oh, yeah.
So it just shows you that, when they miss, it's not going to be around the pocket. But the big thing that I've seen out of the boys so far is there's been a lot of balls over the same mark.
Yeah,
That was the first bad miss out of anyone today so far.
and that was only about probably a 2.5 to 3 board miss outside. But because all the excessive oil that hasn't been worn off the pattern outside of about 7th or 8th board,
Yep.
it ain't coming back.
Yeah, David wasn't too pleased with that shot, but he covered it up. There's a lot of game there yet, Dave. So, start making some better shots there. I'm sure you'll be just fine.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily lose the lead depending on what Cotie does in the 6th frame. And that was just too speed dominant.
It was, agreed. So fast to the point, Phil, where it actually, again, we saw that with the girls' match, it fell back a little bit right there before the ball entered the pocket, leaving the flat 10.
Yeah, just not enough grab by that ball to get through the pocket strong, and that 6-pin just saws off and falls in the flat gutter. Switches to that polyester ball, flattens it out, and like he's done it for years.
Effortless.
So,
Again, that's what happens when you practice a lot. You don't have to think about it anymore.
no doubt. I mean, there's proprietors out there like Phil Anco at Castle, and of course Merrill Draper here at Towne Country Lanes that do a lot for the high school programs. These kids come in high school practice, and they give the kids time to improve their game, get them some coaching, work on them getting better, and these kids take it seriously. They're not screwing around out there. And wow, that 4-pin I thought was going to stand. Has Cotie got somebody in back throwing pins for the home field advantage? Maybe,
It could be
of course
pay
not.
off the
But,
mechanic.
yeah, of course not. But watch that 2-pin do a lot of work on the 4 and the 7 and get them both out of there.
That was just revolutions and speed and power, Phil, on that one. I got that 4 out of there.
Yeah, digging that and the proper entry angle. If that ball would have entered a little excessively, a little bit too much of an angle, that 2-pin probably would have missed the 4.
Real deep, Phil. And he's got a real good look on that lane right now with that ball he's using.
And you can see they've both amped up the speed to keep
Yes.
the ball on line, but they're not trying to use too much of the lane. As we saw with David last time, you try to hook it too much, you're going to get yourself in a little bit of trouble out here.
Yeah, Dave's 22 pins down now. He's checking the score. He's going to have to start making a move.
Just that nice, sweet snap on the way through, and snaps that 7.
Again, speed and power, and the pins just light them up and dance.
Can we go back 20 or 30 years and learn how to bowl like these kids do nowadays?
Yep.
Because I'll tell you what, it's the physical game and the way that coaching has come about in the last 15 or 20 years
Yep.
that really brings out the effortless power game. I mean,
Yes.
there was a power game back in the 70s and 80s with Mark Roth and guys like
Agreed.
Bob Vespi and Bob Hanley, but there was a lot of effort into that game. This is just effortless power we're seeing with these bowlers.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And you're right. And that's where you have the better fits and you have the free loose arm swings. Absolutely. You see a less effort to still generate the high rev rate that our kids today are generating.
Well, Cotie's still got work to do here. He's only up 12 pins.
Yep. I mean, timely double by Dave.
Cotie looking for 5 in a row. Oh, and he gets it.
Keeps the pressure on. Again, a great match, Phil. Very, very close to the end of the wire.
266 if Cotie goes off the sheet here. The scores are flying. And as we saw by David's errant shot, not the easiest pattern in the world out here. Not to pound it through our viewers' heads, but
Yep.
these kids got talent, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, and they do. And again, the thing that I'm impressed with, as I never bowled at Towne and Country, but the thing that I'm impressed with is, again, anywhere that ball is around that pocket, you're getting those strikes.
Yeah, you watch the pins dance, and Cotie just amped that one up a little too high, along with missing a couple of boards right.
Yes,
And
I'd agree.
Not an easy spare to make right now because
Especially with a high rev player, too.
early, if you try playing it direct, you're going to see early hook in the middle, and that could really cost you.
And he's hooking at it, Phil. And did make it.
Yeah, he really made sure his speed was amped up on that one to keep it on line, and
But that does open up the door for David.
yeah, and pretty interesting situation right now though. If David
Big strike
strikes out,
here. Yeah, big strike here.
244. If Cotie strikes out, 244. There's definitely a possibility of a tie right now.
Yep, absolutely. And again, ninth frame is an important frame. You know, obviously, Cotie did not get the strike in that ninth frame. David did. So, I mean, now advantage back to David.
Yeah, and that ball was easily 3 boards left of where he left that 6 count in frame number 5, and you can see the more direct you are with the revs that they have, it's going to kick those corners out here at Towne and Country.
Yeah, again, I'm just really impressed with the pin carry. Obviously, they're both high rev players, and then they got great ball speed, so obviously they're going to make the pins dance. But again, and the balls are very powerful too today, too. Obviously, Phil, and that makes a big difference also. But man, those pins are just shrapnel on the end.
Yeah, I mean, you just watch that 5 pin, you hit the 7 at about Mach 2.3, and yeah, that 7 never has a chance.
Makes me want to go bowl at Towne and Country.
Yeah, I think we may have to sign up for Spring League there. We'll have to talk to Meryl and Teresa and Meryl's wife Lorraine. Always, a great family-run operation here in Burlington with Towne and Country Lanes. And don't forget, keep an eye out. TV listings and another channel. They have the All-Star Bowling coming out, and as this is airing, they're finishing up qualifying, and they'll be taping the show shortly. So keep an eye out for that. I think with Cotie having the home field advantage here, if David doesn't strike now, he might not win this match.
Correct.
I really don't think we'll see another mistake out of Cotie in the 10th frame.
That's a big double there. First one of the 10th. He great camera view and showed him double clunch it off the foul line. Calling it home, and he got the strike, and then trips the 10 out late on the second shot. So he did what he had to do, Phil. I mean, he's going to try to finish off here with a 6-bagger.
Oh, the high hard one.
High hard one. And that was a real important shot right there. So now there is a very good possibility for a tie.
Cotie Holbek. And kids dream of this stuff when they're practicing. You need all 3 strikes in the 10th to win a match, or in this case for Cotie tie. And he's eating this moment up. There's no doubt in my mind.
The kids or the pros, Phil, it's no different. The pros are in that same situation, but
Ooh, that's left out of his hand.
yeah, he pulled it badly.
That's kind of a heartbreaker for Cotie because, with all of his family and friends here watching him, I mean, he's got his grandma Barb and his mom Dawn, his sister Tay, all sitting out there watching. And, he wanted to win it for Merrill. He wanted to win it for all the other junior bowlers in the house. And he's going to end up taking home third-place scholarship money today.
Yeah, it just was one bad shot at the wrong time, Phil.
Another incredible match, 244 to 220. David Schwartz advances to her final against Brett Isaacson, and we'll see both those bowlers in the championship match of the 900 Global Train Open. Coming back to you from Town and Country Lanes in just a couple of minutes.
Great.
Buy the 900 Global Train. Get the awesome jersey free, a $60 value. Go to 900global.com for all your details.
All right, bowling fans, you've waited all day for it again. The boys' championship here from the 900 Global Train Open from Town and Country Lanes in Burlington. Dwight, something tells me it's going to take 250 to win this match the way these bowlers have been striking so far today.
I would totally agree. And again, the big storyline here, Phil, is going to be lefty advantage. I mean, again, he's had a game now to sit and wait for it. Does he get back into that groove?
Yeah, I mean, David got lined up great at the end of the last game, shoots 244 with the last 8 strikes in a row. So it's got to be in back of Brett's mind a little bit, hey, my opponent's stringing him just like I am.
And that's the lane he left the 2-pin on the 280, Phil, and he goes and leaves the 2-9 again.
Yeah, I mean, he got a couple of practice shots when he came back on the pair. So he get himself, make sure he did things, sometimes lanes change a little bit, or if somebody was shooting at a spare ball, or the righties are so deep, too, that...
Maybe a touch of OB, he gets just a half-board board left of target, and it just wants to hang out there. Yeah. Nice cover.
Perfect cover. Put that in one of them bowling textbooks they put out there. So, early spare for Brett. Now David Schwartz coming up. I'll tell you what, I hate to say this because I'm a lefty and I got to be a lefty fan. I think with the amount of room he's got to miss right out there, I got to give the advantage to David coming into this match. Fresh off the last match with 8 in a row.
The thing that I have learned over the years, Phil, is when the track forms though and breaks down and it opens up dramatically, you can also tend to get a little bit too much overreaction when it hits the track too, and that's exactly what happened in that first shot out of David. Is hit that track and it tends to want to jump and take off a little bit too. So I would agree and then disagree with you at the same time. I would think that it comes down to what you choose for a ball and the look you get out of that ball. And we use that cliche all the time, Phil, is that you can't out-execute bad ball reaction, how true that is. And so I could agree with you that David could have the advantage if he picks the right ball, chooses the right ball, and then gets the right look.
Yep. See Carolina Williams back there, finished second on our girls' show, hanging out, watching her friend Brett Isaacson bowl. So
I'm just real impressed, Phil, with all the talent out of the boys and girls at your tournaments, and they just eat, sleep, live, drink bowling, and they put the time and the effort into it, and then that's how you get rewarded, is with a great shot like that.
Absolutely. Winner of this match gets themselves 50% off a High Five Gear jersey as well. You can see David already wearing that stylish yellow and black High Five Gear jersey, and that jersey at 900 Global is coming out with for that train bowling ball. If you buy one at your local pro shop, it's a nice looking jersey as well.
Absolutely, Phil. What a great promotion.
Let's see if Brett can get back on the strike train here. Hasn't been too many times he's missed today. Only twice out of 13 shots now. And
you can see that he pulls through it real hard to get the revolutions and the power because of that short backswing. But the thing that separates him, instead of guys that have that short backswing height, Phil, and then pull through or hard, is he still keeps his shoulders nice and tilted forward at the release where he's not rearing back up out of the shot. And that's really going to help the ball get through the first 10 feet really clean and really improve his launch angle numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you just watch him when he gets to the finishing position at the line on those 4 steps. I mean, he's just rock solid. That body's not going anywhere.
Really leads hard with the opposite throwing hand. His left shoulder, when he lets that ball go, Phil, is way back.
Yeah, and it just comes through and just scatters that rack, gets the 5-pin to blow out in the 6-10 area. Head pin does a little work as well.
But light on that lane again where he left the 2-9 or 3-9 before, Phil.
Yeah, so I'm sure he'll make a little bit of an adjustment getting into the next ball on that lane, but David here looking to double to pull back to even in the match. Looks like he made a little bit of a move to the left with his feet. That's out a little farther right. Gets the rack to shred. I didn't know if that one was going to come up all the way with that miss to the right, but he's got a little more openness than Brett does on the left side of the
Just what
lane.
you were talking about earlier, Phil, about the first frame. You were talking about that possible advantage to Dave. So far, nice even match.
Yeah, and I still think it's 250 might not be enough at the rate they're going here.
Yeah.
Just amazing bowling by everybody that's made our two shows here from Town and Country Lanes. Nice fluid through the shot. And
Wow.
Holy cow.
Almost 7-9 again.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second 9-pin we've seen for Dave today.
Yeah, and again, that's a costly one because there's 21 pins off the score right there, and you leave a stone 9, maybe a touch high. You could see something took the 7 out at the last second. That could have been 7-9.
Yeah.
A lot of power, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, when the ball hit the 3-pin, it just seemed to just kick instantly to the left and never had any chance of hitting the 9-pin at all.
Maybe a pinch high.
Yeah.
That would have been about it. Bad break, though, because now that could have been an easy 3-bagger for David, and he loses 21 pins on the count because of that, so that can be costly.
Yeah, if Brett strikes here, he'll take at least an 11-pin lead into frame number 5.
Still staying with the 715T, and he should. Obviously, he had a good look at it during the 280 game. If you're coming off a 280 game, you're not going to want to make a ball change. So obviously, he's staying with that one yet. Obviously, he's happy with the look he's getting out of it.
Nice and direct, basically just straight out 7th board, and hey, look who returns the favor, leaving the lefty version of the 9-pin.
Well, with a spare coverage here, Phil, on the 8-pin, I can then, if I'm a mathematician, we can figure out that we're tied after 4.
Yes, indeed. And boy, these bowlers aren't leaving me much more room to keep my 250 prediction out there. I mean, both these bowlers right now, if they go off the sheet, are in the 250s. So
they're going to have to get a few strike stream runs here to get that 250 going, Phil.
yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a 259 tie. That'd be pretty good. They can have a single ball roll off and make it a little more exciting. So see what Brett can do here, getting into the 5th frame commercial break for this game.
Last frame, he didn't like it off his hand, or he didn't hold his balance. That one looked a lot better. And trips to 6 again.
Gets lucky to get that 6-pin out of there, maintains an even match for him. And Dwight and I'll be back from Town and Country Lanes with the rest of the 900 Global Train Open in just a couple of minutes. Halfway through our boys championship match here from Town and Country Lanes, the 900 Global Train Open. Get that free jersey when you buy your 900 Global Train. Make sure you go to 900global.com once the match is done here. Get all the details, and David needs a strike here to keep the match even, Dwight.
And it looked like it hit that track, Phil, and jumped just what I was talking about earlier. Maybe got it out into that track a touch earlier. Could clearly see Phil on that shot. He was about 4 to 5 feet earlier in the break point of the ball. And then obviously if it's going to hook earlier, it's going to go high.
Yeah, and a huge break to just leave that 6-pin on a shot like that, because with those entry angles, as severe as they get on these types of shots, it's easy to leave a big 4 or something of that nature going through the nose.
Still a close match, only a 1 pin apart going into the second half of the game.
So,
staying with the nano solid.
Yeah, lane 9, playing tighter than lane 10. We've seen it all day. And I think he can still get away with that ball on lane 9. You can just see not much. That ball maybe gets 5 boards to the right where he's projecting it out from. Is maybe hooking 3 boards back. Yep. But it's not about how much the ball hooks, ladies and gentlemen. It's about how hard it hits when it gets to the pocket. And you see right there, grinding that 10-pin out.
Yeah, I mean, these are high rev rates, and they're going very straight. And reminds me a lot of what Chris Barnes does a lot, Phil. As a high rev rate as Chris Barnes is, he does not hook the ball much.
Well, Brett Isaacson working on a strike.
Trying to turn it into a double here.
Yeah, looking to get that lead out to 11 pins.
Much better post. And that's that classic strike that he threw a lot in the game before when he was on. Taking that 4 and keeping it low and kicking out that 7.
Yeah, and you can see the difference. Both balls from both players, if you look at it from where the camera picks it up down lane until it gets to the pocket, about the equal amount of hook. They just take different routes to get there. David, because of the lane wear by the righties that all play, a lot of the righties that played all day, has to take a little bit more of the scenic route. Where with Brett, with very few lefties, can just play it straight up the boards.
Yep. And I got to believe that, again, right now, again, you would have to say advantage Brett. And then there's another beautiful strike.
Absolutely 10 packed back into the pit. Gets that lead out to 21 pins. But the match is far, far from over, as we saw last match for David. David was in the same position against Cotie.
Yep.
Went off the sheet for 240 and won to get to the final match.
At this point, you have to answer your opponent, Phil.
Nice shoulder rotation. Sweeps it through the shot. And come on.
Yeah, well, that might even go out of range. And he's watching that.
Unbelievable break at this time of the game.
Didn't trip the 4 at all. Actually just moved it over horizontally.
Watch that 2-pin come off the wall. And you can't hit it any squarer in the center of gravity of that pin to move it like that.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and he knows it was off a little bit in his reaction. Come on, really? It wasn't a hugely bad ball, but it was bad enough to leave a 4-9.
Yeah, I'm not very good at reading lips, but that one I could read definitely, just like you, Phil.
Yeah. Well, he's going to give it a shot here, nothing to lose. And, yeah, the 4-pin, even with getting slid over like that, doesn't make it any easier.
Right. I was just going to say, made it a touch easier, but it's still a tough split, obviously, to make. And he tried to go the direct route and throw the hard, straight plastic ball at it. And Phil, that could be very costly right there. You know, you got Brett on a 3-bagger already, and David was trying to answer him with a double, and now he's got a pretty good size hole here. Yeah. One ball, one frame, that's how quick it can turn around in a 1-game match.
Yeah, lost at least 20 pins to Brett right there, and now with having a spare attempt here, he's going to lose 30 pins plus in 2 frames against Brett, and if Brett doubles in his 8th and 9th, watch out.
This could be over quick, yep.
So.
And that one looked like he was a touch fast, maybe overcorrected from the shot before. Might feel with the lack of time he's taking on his spares that it's slipping a little bit away from him.
And 33 pins for a lead for Brett Isaacson. Can extend it to 43 with a strike in the 8th frame, looking for 4 in a row here.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. The first half of the game, Phil, the first 5 frames, both of the kids were pretty close and score and had the look on the lanes. And then the next thing you know, Dave's kind of lost that look a little bit.
Yeah, all that wear on the right side, maybe catching up to David at this time. And Brett, once again, straight up the boards, gets it to come in and kicks everything away.
Yeah, he really liked it off his hand, Phil. You could see it as soon as he threw it. Was kind of calling it home right away, and another textbook strike for him, 4 into the 7. Low. A lot of his strikes are the same way. See how he's running that one out? Yeah, I think he kind of knew it right away, and a big advantage now, Phil.
It's pretty much game over. I mean, 269 if Brett goes off the sheet here. I mean, David's maximum right now is 216, so this one's pretty much all but over as long as Brett stays behind the foul line the next couple of shots. Yeah, that's pretty much staying behind the foul line.
Very powerful strike, and yeah, that's going to be tough for Dave to come back from this point. Brett definitely right now, we can easily say the lefty advantage definitely did come through, but I'll tell you right now, Brett threw a lot of balls directly over his mark for 2 games in a row, and when he did miss, it was not around the pocket. So he made beautiful, beautiful, letter-perfect shots out there, and David has definitely lost 10 for sure, and that ball started to creep up high in frame 7, I believe. Or I'm sorry, I go back to frame 5 when he left that 6-pin, and I don't think he's ever had the look on Ted since.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been hooky. It's like somebody took a piece of sandpaper to his break point down the lane about 40 feet down.
And that's what can happen when the track blows out. And again, at this point, what you have to do is you got to either shell down or ball down or increase your speed, or you got to move in, or a combination of all 3.
Yeah, it's unlocking. It's like a magic code. If you can unlock that magic code, you can knock down a lot of pins. If one piece of that puzzle is missing or one letter's off in that code, whew, it can get ugly.
But you probably will agree with me, but when you're in a 1-game match like this on how fast it's going by, you usually don't want to gamble and change. The stubbornness of bowlers is what I call it. And it's tough in that 1-game match because you had a pretty good look the game before with it. But that's how quick it can change, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, you just shot 240. It can't change that quick, can it? And unfortunately for David on lane 10.
It did.
It did. And, David really trying hard here. There was another youth tournament here at Towne & Country last weekend. David won it, and he was really looking for a second good weekend in a row. But, hey, a first and a second for 2 consecutive weekends with pretty decent fields for these youth tournaments, and yeah, that's enough scholarship money I'll go in the bank for him.
I know he's disappointed, but what a talent and what a great game, and again, bowling fan, color analyst. Boy, I love watching this game. Fun to watch.
And covers that 6-pin up to end up with a 193. Not what he was looking for. You can see the disappointment as he walks away, but he will be back with a vengeance. And I know so far during the high school season, he's been bowling pretty darn well for Racine Case, filling a lot of frames for that team.
Ball reaction, ball reaction, ball reaction. And again, and this is where maybe having them a little tighter on the left side or a little bit more oil, no one's screwing around with your pattern. This maybe was that Brett's advantage.
That one, he just kind of got to the line a little quick, fell off of it.
Agreed.
Irrelevant because he had the match in the bag even before he stepped up in the 10th. So going to take home a nice chunk of scholarship money, that nice discount on the High Five Gear jersey. And
Big win.
Yeah, go to highfivegear.com. Check out all the jersey styles they have there. They have different styles of 900 Global jerseys there as well, but I like the one for the 900 Global train. I'll be sure to be wearing that sometime soon. Covers it up nicely. Yeah, please be sure to go to 900global.com. Check out that special. Check out all the specs on that train bowling ball. I like mine. I got one. I like it. I'm going to keep throwing it for quite a while. No doubt about that.
Yeah, they make some great quality stuff down there, Phil. They always have. Everything's good. It's going to come out of San Antonio, Texas.
Looking to finish out with a strike here for 247. Two amazing games on TV, Dwight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 527 for the two games. 263 average. Not bad, Phil.
Dwight and I'll be back to wrap up the entire show from Towne & Country Lanes. Make sure you stay tuned after this short break.
Buy the 900 Global train. Get the awesome jersey free, a $60 value. Go to 900global.com for all your details.
Barbiere's, a Milwaukee institution since 1963. Great Italian food for dine-in or carry-out, and great times for your family and friends. Barbiere's, in the heart of South Milwaukee, and near Miller Park on Blue Mountain Road.
Well, Dwight, not as close of a match in the finals we like to see in the U Challenge Series. Brett Isaacson kind of ran away with it and kind of had an advantage like we talked about during the show, being that lone lefty.
Yeah, absolutely. No one to affect his ball reaction and his shot, and that sometimes they always say the lefty advantage, and that definitely did come through for Brett during the show. And maybe the breakdown got the right-handed side a little bit, and the boys started to get a touch over-under because of the amount of lineage on the right side, but still it was a great match.
Absolutely. Another great U Challenge tournament in the books. Make sure you join us again soon on Time Warner Cable Sports 32. Want to thank our friends down there for hosting us. And for my friend Dwight Albrecht, I'm Phil Brylow. And parents, take the kids bowling. They'll have fun for life. We'll see you again soon.